and welcome to Catalan News. Catalan President Lluís Companys was arrested in 1934 for declaring independence. 6 years later, in 1940, after the Civil War, he was executed by Franco. Fast forward to today, the People's Party, the ruling party in Spain, said Catalan President Carles Puigdemont could face the same fate. Of course, they meant he could end up in prison and not shot by a firing squad. But the comments have obviously fanned the flames of what was already a tense situation in Catalonia. One day before a potential declaration of independence in Parliament. Here at Catalan News, we've got all the details. Let's begin. Declaration of independence or no declaration of independence? That's the big question in relation to tomorrow's plenary session in the Catalan Parliament. President Puigdemont is expected to give a speech about the October 1st referendum, but it is not clear whether he will declare statehood or not. The stakes are high in Catalonia and Spain, with Madrid threatening to strip Catalans of their autonomy if they go ahead with independence plans.
A crucial event in Parliament is less than 24 hours away, a declaration of independence. Everything points to it, although it's not 100% confirmed. This man, Carles Puigdemont, the Catalan president, will make a statement tomorrow at 6 p.m, expected to explain how he plans to implement the results of the referendum. But he has already said that the vote was binding, and 90% of voters went for independence. What he will exactly say is not entirely clear, yet Spain's ruling party, the People's Party, has already said today what may happen to Puigdemont if he declares independence.
La historia no hay que repetirla y esperemos que mañana no se declare nada, porque a lo mejor el que lo declare acaba como el que lo declaró hace 83 años.
He was referring to Lluís Companys, who proclaimed the Catalan state in 1934. Immediately afterwards, he was jailed, and 6 years later, with dictator Franco already in power, Companys was executed. Now he is a martyr and a symbol for both pro-independence and anti-fascist movements. The Spanish government hinted today that suspending Catalonia's self-government is also on the table. Pressure on the Catalan president is growing. This comes not only from those who want to stop the declaration, but also from some pro-independence lawmakers who ask him not to back out. Others have showed full support for whatever the president decides.
Una vez más, el Estado amenaza a nuestros ciudadanos con suspender sus libertades, cuando del otro lado lo que estamos ofreciendo y lo que estamos poniendo sobre la mesa es voluntad de diálogo y de mediación.
In fact, the outcome of tomorrow's session in the Catalan Parliament could be a combination of independence and mediation. The decision is likely to be revealed in less than 24 hours. Tension, however, will surely be an element.
For many years, Catalans were kingmakers in the Spanish Parliament, offering stability to both socialist and conservative governments in Madrid. So how did events unfold to the point that a Catalan president might declare that the country is no longer part of Spain? Well, it all started 14 years ago, when a new Catalan government came up with the idea of reforming a legal text which had been ruling Catalonia since the post-Franco transition.
The country sets a new goal for self-government, reforming the Statute of Autonomy. The Catalan Parliament passes it with an overwhelming majority in 2005. The Spanish Parliament cuts back on the degree of self-government provided by the text, yet the public approve it in a referendum. The People's Party starts gathering signatures against the statute and sends it to the Constitutional Court. After 4 years, the Constitutional Court rules that 14 articles of the statute are outside the law and reinterprets 23 more. This event sparks outrage and a 1.1 million strong demonstration some weeks later. The call for independence is the chant most heard. The first mass pro-independence demonstration on September the 11th makes society and politicians realise just how many people now want a Catalan state. The then Catalan president asks his Spanish counterpart for more financial autonomy.
I Catalunya farà el seu camí. Procurarem que sigui per aquesta via del pacte, de l'entesa i de l'acord.
The answer is no. After a fresh election, a majority of lawmakers commit to holding a referendum. Pro-independence support peaks in 2013 at 57%. A first major attempt is made to agree a vote with the Spanish Parliament, as the Scots did with London. The result? 47 votes in favour, 299 votes against. Then the government calls an unofficial vote for November the 9th, but leaves the preparations to volunteers to avoid legal liability. Spain bans the vote, but lets it go ahead. The yes vote wins with 80%. but turnout is only around 40%. Pro-independence parties attain a parliamentary majority for the first time since the 1930s. Together they win 48% of the votes, while unionist parties obtain 39%. A new Catalan president is elected in January. He tries to open talks on holding a referendum with his Spanish counterpart. The answer again is no.
Para hacer un referéndum que liquide la soberanía nacional que no se cuenta.
While he says he will be open to dialogue until the end, he vows to hold a referendum, even if Madrid is against it.
O referéndum o referéndum.
The 2014 vote organisers are barred from office and ordered to pay €5 million. Nevertheless, the new referendum remains on course for October the 1st. Despite warnings, raids, arrests and seizures by Spanish authorities, it goes ahead. The yes vote wins at 90%, but based on a turnout of 43%. Yet the main highlight is the Spanish police violence, which leaves 900 injured but fails to stop the vote.
Concern is growing internationally about the Catalan situation. Calls for dialogue and mediation come from both inside and outside the European Union. Switzerland has already said it is willing to mediate, but Spain refuses any international involvement. Despite this, global leaders such as Kofi Annan and Ban Ki-moon have publicly stated that Spain should find a peaceful solution to the situation in Catalonia. Today we have also learned that Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, also raised the issue with Rajoy.
The October 1st referendum was a turning point for European involvement in the Catalan question. Recent reaction came from Germany. Angela Merkel and Mariano Rajoy spoke on the phone on Saturday, with Merkel expressing the support for the unity of Spain and urging Rajoy to find ways to strengthen dialogue with Catalonia, provided it is within the Spanish constitutional framework. But Merkel's is not the only reaction from Germany. Today, the country president also stated that it's important to take people's feelings seriously. Another reaction comes from the Council of Europe. The Commissioner for Human Rights called for an independent and effective investigation into Spain's violence on referendum day and called the force used by police against voters disproportionate and unnecessary. In recent days, even the global and independent NGO The Elders, chaired by former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan, expressed deep concern at the recent violent confrontation in Catalonia. However, the European Commission continues to remain silent, even if independence is declared.
On a notre position que tu connais bien, que j'ai expliqué à nouveau vendredi, et tout le reste, on va voir. Donc, on n'est pas entré dans la spéculation vendredi, et je suis sûr qu'on ne va pas le faire aujourd'hui non plus.
Despite the silence, the lack of dialogue between the Spanish and Catalan governments is causing concern in Brussels. On Saturday, the President of the European Commission also talked to Angela Merkel, and the Catalan situation was one of the issues they tackled.
Although the European Union has refused to get involved, many Catalans in favour of independence hope Europe will eventually help. One of the 14 high-ranking officials arrested by Spanish police some days before the referendum has decided to take his case to the European Court of Human Rights. Josep Maria Jova, former Secretary General of the Catalan government's Vice Presidency and Economy Ministries, says his arrest was an act of intimidation rather than based on the law and violated several basic rights, including the right to a fair trial. The arrest of Jova and many other Catalan officials prompted huge demonstrations in Barcelona, but many others are happy with the Spanish government's strategy to stop the referendum. On Sunday, hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets of the Catalan capital to defend Spain's unity and constitution.
Spanish flags waving in the heart of Barcelona. 1 million protesters, according to organizers. 350,000, according to local police. Whatever the numbers, the march on Sunday was by far the largest demonstration for Spain's unity since the push for independence started. Many people came from across Spain to join the march, although the exact number is not clear. The rally was attended by leaders of unionist parties in Catalonia, as well as personalities such as the writer and Nobel laureate Mario Vargas Llosa.
El nacionalismo ha llenado la historia de Europa y del mundo y de España de guerras, de sangre y de cadáveres.
Spanish police officers enjoyed the cheers of the crowd. A week after the crackdown on the referendum left almost 900 voters injured. In contrast, the Catalan police were booed and called traitors by protesters. One of the most popular chants was indeed "Jail for Puigdemont," referring to the possible arrest of the Catalan president for going ahead with independence plans. The day also left images of violence and political extremism. The demonstration was joined by several far-right groups, and their supporters were not ashamed of performing the Nazi salute or walking around displaying fascist symbols from the Franco dictatorship. They attracted the attention of international media. Some journalists were also attacked by demonstrators while doing their job, including a brutal aggression against a photographer.
The conflict between Catalonia and Spain is also affecting police. Today, the Catalan police force, the Mossos, have been stripped of their security duties at the Palace of Justice. Until now, all judicial buildings in Catalonia were guarded by the Catalan police, but after recent events, including the referendum, this will now be the responsibility of Spanish police. Representatives from the Catalan police have said they will respect the decision, but do not understand why it has been made. Meanwhile, an investigation for sedition is still open against the Catalan police chief for his role over the last few days. Let's change topic now and move on to culture, because the Sitges Film Festival on the coast of Catalonia is still underway. Horror movies are at the centre stage of the event, which has seen many Hollywood stars passing by, including Susan Sarandon.
The paranormal overtook a seaside town this weekend with the Sitges Film Festival, world-renowned for horror and fantasy films. This year, it awarded actress Susan Sarandon the Grand Honorary Award. While the actress has been in a varied range of films, she emphasized a common theme in most of her roles.
You can be the protagonist in your own life is very important. So, ordinary women doing extraordinary things and opening their hearts are basically what I'm drawn to.
This weekend also saw some unique new stories on the screen, such as Marrowbone, feature-length debut of Sergio G. Sanchez. This genre-bending thriller tackles concepts like innocence and home. This is a common theme for Sanchez, who already cut his teeth screenwriting for movies like The Orphanage. Other films shown at the festival include The Ghost Story, starring Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara, and The Killing of a Sacred Deer, with Nicole Kidman and Colin Farrell. Also screened was Muse, the new film by Jaume Balagueró, acclaimed director of the Wrecked Zombie series. The festival already kicked off this week with appearances from The Exorcist director William Friedkin and filmmaker Guillermo del Toro. This year, the Sitges Film Festival is celebrating its 50th anniversary, including its annual Zombie Walk. The festival will run until October the 17th.
And with this, we finish today's show. We'll be back tomorrow, which is expected to be a very intense day in Parliament. For now, we leave you with some pictures of Castells, the Human Towers Catalan tradition that amazes everyone. Enjoy and see you tomorrow.